everyone. I'm Devin James, your host for this evening, and welcome to CommuniTEA, where young black gay and bisexual men have unfiltered, candid conversations on things like sex, relationships, dating, race, identity, and community empowerment. We are here on behalf of United Black Element. UBE exists to enable young, black, same-gender loving men to fulfill their greatest potential for good. So if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and in need of free HIV and syphilis testing or would like to inquire about PrEP, please give us a call on our PrEP hotline. That is 214-393-3700. 214-393-3700. So we have a great show for you tonight. As you know, Thanksgiving is a day for being grateful, giving thanks, spending time with family, and of course, all the good food. As you see, we got over there, we finna eat too. But for a lot of LGBTQ individuals, that means spending time with their chosen family. Friendsgiving is becoming more and more common, more of a thing. And so tonight, we just want to know, like, what is your favorite Thanksgiving tradition? Okay, so we want y'all to let us know down in the comments. Comment, let us know, like this video, love this video, share this video. And while you do all of that, we gonna make our plates. Okay, we gonna make our plates because we finna eat today. Okay, we finna eat. Okay. Got our plates, started digging in a little bit. So what is it, other than the food, because we all know, what is your favorite Thanksgiving tradition? Is there like more than the food?
Well, I'm gonna have to think about it now.
I felt attacked when you said that, other than the food.
Because I knew that's what all y'all was gonna say.
The meat.
It's not really a tradition, but I like when my cousins get together, go to the back den of my grandmother's house, and talk about, just like really talk about like, oh, this was nasty, that was nasty, who cooked this, who cooked that, type of deal.
So y'all Thanksgiving dinners be nasty?
Some people can't, everybody can cook.
That's true.
Like whoever did this mac and cheese.
That's it.
Well, this has like something it's food adjacent. So something that me and my sister do, like it's a little morbid, but we're not gonna have our mom forever. So what happens is that we'll each take a recipe directly from our mom and we'll try to duplicate it. So, every time we have a holiday tradition, just like Thanksgiving, we'll each make a different dish according to our mom's recipe and we'll all try it and our mom will tell us how we did and all that.
Oh, that's actually very genius.
That
Come on.
is
That is very genius.
Right. But there's certain things I don't trust everybody. I need it to be right.
Oh, you can trust Maple Jones is everything.
Maple Jones, come on.
Maple Jones like the syrup.
Come on.
Mrs. Butterworth.
Anybody else?
I think for me, I'm from Oklahoma, so all of our family gets back together from Cali, from Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, wherever. We all go home. It's been a tradition for our family. My grandma's 90, and all of her brothers and sisters, they live in different cities and states, and they all come with their family, and we all just get together. It's like a big family reunion for us. So we have the sweet potato pie. It's my favorite. I know we said not to go to food, but my grandma makes the best, and I always take one big whole one home when I go back. So it sucks that we won't have it this year because of COVID.
I would say for me, it's two things outside of food. So the first is like, it don't matter when or what time we eat or how we do it, we gonna always play a game of spades. It's gonna be me, my mama, my nana, and her husband. We're gonna be running the spades table. Like, it don't matter. Like, we gonna get the game in. And then the day after Thanksgiving is the most important part of Thanksgiving, which is Black Friday. So just like, and we all collectively do it as a family. So like we up at 2:30, 3 a.m. in the morning outside the store. Like I'm in this line. My grandma at JCPenney, my mama at Best Buy, and we all on the phone. Got the walkie-talkies. But you got 2, 3, 4 of them. All of that. And so even on Thanksgiving, like it's a process. Like we look in the paper on Thanksgiving to look to see what time stores gonna open, what coupons they get. Cause my grandma didn't stay in the country. So for me, the best part of Thanksgiving is one, the games that I play with my family, and just the whole process of preparing for like the Black Friday hustle and bustle, and us like effectively doing that together, and like having like a goal and being able to help each other out through the process. So that's what I enjoy about Thanksgiving the most.
Well, since my family is black, and every Friday's Black Friday because we black, that's not necessarily traditional. No, I'm just playing. It's silly. But no, I don't do Black Friday like that. But I would say my tradition would be like roasting rounds, like talk about each other. Like honestly, like my family, we go back and forth all the time. Like my brothers, cousins, all the time. We come through the door talking.
That's where you do
Shit, and so it's natural. Yeah, it's natural. So I like that because it's like there's one time in a year that I feel like everybody is together and like yeah, you kind of like make fun of people's shortcomings or not or whatever, but at the same time it's we're all there laughing with each other, like, you know, and just enjoying each other. I love laughter. Laughter is like my favorite dish in life, you know, next to macaroni and cheese. So
Okay.
So the other, you know.
Hello, me too.
meat.
Right.
Me
all
and
that
you.
money.
Oh, well, that too, you know, money, but a man, girl, that can make the money.
A tradition that we do, it's nothing big, it's similar to Chris. We do games or whatever. I like playing games for fun, but my family, they're real competitive. So I usually get out of the first round and let them play by themselves. But then after after we're done eating, after we let our food settle, we usually go to the movie theater to see whatever holiday movie is out at the time. We'll do that every year. So we're gonna be different this year because a lot of movie theaters are closed because of COVID. But that's what we do. Or it also depends on where we're at. If there's like something in the city where you can go like see like lights or something, like a light show, or like we get like right after the Thanksgiving dinner, we get into Christmas mode. So
is everybody at the same city, or do you do it different? Like, because you said that it depends on where y'all are at.
yeah, because my dad is in the military, so they move a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, so depending on wherever we're living at the time, if they have like something going on, we'll go to like whatever like fancy like city light show they have or something.
So growing up, like y'all always spend Thanksgiving with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly have never missed a Thanksgiving. Even when I was in college and had to work on Thanksgiving Day, I would either drive down that day and then drive back because it's only a 2-hour drive, and get a plate and then go back.
And sometimes my baby sister, her birthday falls on Thanksgiving sometimes, so I always try to make sure I'm at Thanksgiving more than I'm there for Christmas.
And like family being inclusive of like my central family, my extended family, my church family, and the friends of the family who like are your family. Like that's my auntie, but that's really not my auntie. You know what I'm saying? That's really someone that used to date somebody, brother or sister. You know what I'm saying? But they're just always there. So they.
So,
Yeah, all of my family's here in Dallas, so there's no traveling, none of that. It's just we all here. I know, like I hate that I didn't get the whole traveling experience for holidays. We just go right up the street.
We spend
That's good though. I mean, even then, like,
at least y'all close.
yeah.
Well, yeah, but you know, I like to see, you know, when people travel and get to see family they haven't seen in so long.
And I think that for me and my family, because like, so my dad has 18 brothers and sisters.
Okay.
And so they're all across the country. So because of the fact that like I don't see my cousins that often, the bonds that we have are even stronger when we get together because we don't have the opportunities to connect. So when we do connect, like that time that we have each other is like highly valued. So like right now, like my cousin came to town for the weekend, so he's at my house and is going through it that I'm here and not at the house with him. But like the time that we have, like when we do come together, it's like really, really precious because we don't stay that close to each other.
okay, so we're talking about family.
You know that,
We all got our rainbow and whatnot. Like I want to ask, like, what age did everybody like come out to their family? Like, so maybe friends or but like your family.
Ooh, I was approximately 16 years old when I came out. I remember I told my sister over the phone because she lived in Seattle, Washington. And she was like, well, I've been waiting on you to tell me. I've been new. And then when it came to my mom, I told her through a letter. And when it came to the rest of the family, like the extended family, it really didn't matter all that much.
Right.
Like if they found out, they found out. Mm-hmm. But I came out to everybody in high school because I had a Facebook. No, I had a MySpace. I had a MySpace because it was like 2007. And I changed like what I like to men. And I was like, just one messy person has to see this and I won't have to do any work. I went back to school and I was right. Everybody knew. Everybody.
Yes. How did you like accept like people, I guess, like, oh, you're gay, you like men?
Well, I mean, there were always like little run-ins that I would have even before then. It was this one time I was in middle school and there was this girl, her name sounds a lot like Elijah from the Bible, right? And we had a substitute teacher and she was going through roles, she didn't know how to pronounce her name. And me, you know, thinking I'm more cool with her than we actually are, you know, while the substitute teacher is like stumbling and tripping over her name, I said, it's Elijah. And she snapped. She got so mad. She was like, that ain't my name, you faggot. And then everybody in the class was just looking at me. And this is in middle school, but I didn't know what a faggot was. So I'm just looking at everybody looking at me, and I'm like, it seems like I'm supposed to be upset.
I don't feel it.
It's not shame.
That's like emotional.
It's not shame if you're not offended. I'm like,
Why is it such a big deal?
Yeah, so you be unbothered by people.
And it's so
I'm
funny.
offended.
The substitute teacher didn't do nothing. Her name was Miss Manley, and it wasn't a single vertebrae in her backbone. She didn't do nothing.
Oh.
She just looked. She just looked, and we just went on with class.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's cool. I probably came at about 2010, say I was like 20.
that's when I
Yeah, and unfortunately there really wasn't a coming out. This was thanks to Facebook. Back when Facebook used to, I guess like when you would get on and it would tell you what your friends commented on. Mm-hmm. And so there was this guy that posted a picture. He looked a lot like Leon, like Cynthia Bailey's husband. So I was like going in that comment section, you know, just being funny because we, you know, knew each other. So I'm just like being funny, like, oh, I'll drink your bathwater type thing. I'm on my way to do a show and my mother calls me and she's like, what is this? You talking about this man and such and such? And I tried to play the whole, because I had told her I was bisexual, to kind of like, you know, wing her into the whole thing. And she was like, I thought we were struggling with this together. And so I'm like, this ain't no struggle for you, boo. Like, it's just me. And the next thing I knew, she called my brother, she called my sister to talk to them because we got into it real bad. She called me Ebony. And yeah. And I was like, excuse you? I was like, excuse you? And she was like, yeah, that's what you want to be, right? And I hung up in her face. I'm like, girl, I have a show to do. I don't have time for this.
it be your own people.
So yeah, it be your own people. Yeah, it do. But she's improved a lot. Like she's met my boyfriend Terrence, like and they're cool or whatever. Like she's came a long way. But yeah, so unfortunately there really wasn't a coming out for me. She told people get some stuff already, and from there it's like, okay, family know.
That was my exact same situation. Like I didn't come out, I was found out. And it was
I want to laugh, but it was how you said
it was because my parents had found a letter from my best friend talking about me falling in love with a guy in college or whatnot. And my dad, and I was, mind you, I was away. I was living in Atlanta, and they were like 45 minutes south of Atlanta. And so my dad called me, and then like apparently he had got drunk and punched a hole in the wall. And then mind you, he's at the house, and besides my dad, like we're the only men, so it was just my mom and my sisters. And so they're running around the house frantic and screaming and crying, and they call me. They're like, "What's going on? Your dad is upset and he's drunk." And I'm like, "That's not typical of my father. My father doesn't get drunk." And so it was a whole situation or whatnot, but that's how I got found out. But see, go ahead. I'll let y'all do sort of before I go into like my whole theory about coming out.
I was a freshman in college when I came out, and first person I came out to was my aunt, who's like my mom's younger sister. and she lived 3 blocks from the college campus, so from our dorm room. And when I came out to her, I had just bought a new car, and we went to go test drive it. And when we got back to her house, I said, I got something I got to tell you. And I came out, one, because I wanted to tell her, and that was the person I wanted to tell first. But I was working at the movie gallery, and there were these 2 gay guys that came in, and they broke up, and the guy asked me on a date, and his crazy ass ex started threatening me, and so I was like, oh my god.
Wait. So they broke up, walked in together, and one of them was hit on you.
Yeah, and we went on dates and stuff, and then the other one came to my job, and I had to close the store, and he would sit out there and wait for me to come outside and honk the horn and do all kinds of crazy stuff to try to scare me.
That's sickening.
So,
girl, you took his man and he was out for you.
I was like, man, because I got it like that.
And you was tripping.
Right, wait.
So you told your aunt so somebody could know where your
before I
whereabouts.
talk about what I told my aunt, you can't take a man that someone didn't even have. Let's be clear.
Okay. Let's be clear.
Right? He had
But
until they walked in.
I did tell my aunt that, and she was like, I already knew, and we cried. She hugged me. She just told me to be safe. And then after I told my aunt, I told my mom and my dad, and they were pretty much the same. My mom was just like, I thought, whenever you were born, you were supposed to be a girl. I'm like, that doesn't mean I'm gay, but whatever. My dad was just...
They do that.
My dad just said, hey, I've done everything I wanted to do with you as a son. You played sports. You did the things that I wanted to do with a son.
Oh,
And
so
then...
you transition?
No.
Like, God, no.
And then I think with my grandmother, she just said, no one better not mess with you. You're my baby. So my family, everybody in the family was accepting, even my cousins, the Mills.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have a great family. Love my family to death.
Well, I never felt that I needed to come out. So, but no, I would say when I did have I would say the thing that I would use as a coming out story, I didn't feel like I needed to in a sense because a lot of it was something that I would feel like I was doing like an internal struggle more so, and it was more so about because I always had people taunt me or tease me even before I knew gay was, even before I had even before I even had sexual attraction to men as well. And so I would say like there were different moments to where it was like we would talk about things, but it was just like we love you, we support you for whoever you are. But I would say like if I had like an official coming out to tell like my family, because once I got 18 or whatever, I didn't care. So it was like, girl, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. It doesn't matter. Like I am who I am, and that's just that. And so which was kind of funny because I had more of a coming out story telling people I like girls as well too than I did about people liking guys because in college I ended up dating a girl in college and people were more shocked and astonished by that. And they were like, "Oh, so they joked about it as if like, oh, you came out as straight, huh?" So, but I would say like it was like 23. So I moved back home after having a breakup and everything. And my brother, I have a brother that's 3 years younger than I am, and he's a Gemini too. His birthday's like 4 days before me. And we always grew up like, if you want to say sibling rivalry, we always were at each other's necks. And it was like one day we got at each other's necks and like we were to blows and stuff. And he was just like, oh, well, you sitting here and you're this age and you're not told your own family, your friends, your family that you're gay and whatever. And for me, I'm like, bitch, who's hiding? Bitch, I'm gay and what? You know what I mean? Like, what's the? I don't get the issue at that point. And so it was like, and like honestly, I guess because I had to go to the hospital that day because I really was about to fight. I was fighting, and so I ended up like coming to snatch him. We had like those like double French doors, and it's like all glass and everything. And it was like a paint, like they had like little mini panes all through it down. Mm-hmm. And so like I was about to punch him and he ran through the little thing and my arm got cut. Mm-hmm. And so I was spliced open, so I had to go to the hospital. And that's when I would talk to my mom about it and things like that. And it was just like more of a reiteration of, baby, you didn't really have to come out. Like, we're glad that you feel comfortable enough to talk to us about that and everything. But I mean, we were prepared either way through just the experiences that we just had with you and just in life. So it wasn't necessarily coming out, but it was kind of like a coming out. But you know.
So I have like two. I don't know how many times I tried to come out to my mama, and she was just not accepting it. So I went to this. I went to this program called Black Academy of Arts and Letters when I was in high school, and so this was like my sophomore, junior year in high school. These people did not respect me. They treated me so bad. One day I talked to this girl, and I'm like, "Why are y'all treating me this way?" She was like, "Edmund, we know you're gay. We just want you to accept yourself. Once you accept yourself, then we will allow you in conversations and talk to you and such and such." And I was like, "Really?" And she was like, "Yeah."
Up to them, you know?
But
Well,
that's
probably-
funny to me because, well, this is just my thought process, because I have found out that most of the times when people accept themselves and are authentically themselves, they're usually more accepted by other people. But when you do try to hide it or, you know, suppress it or act like it doesn't exist, that's when people really feel the need to point it out or like,
make
you know,
fun of you about
or
it.
try to pull it out of you or something.
People need name badges. Like people need to know
Labels. They just
they need to
know where
see,
they
like,
know where to categorize you.
But then I think people like to prey on insecurities, and if you use your sexuality as your insecurity, then that is something that's going to always show.
Yeah,
and
it
so
was
then
it
it's
was a
going to be
huge
something like
insecurity for me.
You cannot make me feel bad about something that I've already accepted about me.
But if you're not
But
accepting,
then I hadn't even
you're
accepted,
not
like that's why
accepting
it's,
yourself.
yeah, and I'm thinking that's why it's an insecurity, because I hadn't accepted that. I didn't really want to be gay. Like I want to have a wife and kids and all of that shit. So they realized what I was, and I'm like, okay. So it was more that, okay, well, I can feel, you know, comfortable around y'all, so I will be myself. So once I started, like, I'm like, okay, I'm flourishing, like I'm, you know, getting solos and different shit. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I went home. We were doing some communion that morning. It was me, my mother, and my father. Yes, we were pretty holy. Yeah, we used to do communion, and I swear life was great then. But anyway, so we were doing communion. We was reading something in the Bible, and they had said something where you supposed to like ask for forgiveness or come clean or something like that. So my parents came clean. They was like, "Oh, I'm sorry for this," and I'm like, I really have nothing to apologize for because I think I'm perfect. But I'm like, I have nothing to apologize for aside from I just want to tell y'all that I'm gay. And my dad, he was getting ready for work. He was like, you know, son, it's completely fine. I figured that you were anyway, but we'll talk about it when I get back from home. He was like, unfortunately, I have to leave you here with your mama. And I looked at my mama, and she was like, ready to put the word in me. I remember that entire day. It was just straight Bible. She told me, she was like, where is this coming from? I'm like, well, the people, you know, down at the Black Academy, you know, told me that, you know, everything was fine. And she like, no, it ain't fine. No, it ain't fine. Matter of fact, you don't even talk to them people. She put me on punishment like that entire summer. It was a struggle. It was a struggle for me. It was a struggle. Like she called emails. There was a notebook that I had with best friends. Child, she had saw many things, and up in 2010, still wasn't accepting it. So
I would say one thing for me with my eye, this is just my eye statement because it's not everyone's eye statement. My aunt had said something to me. She said, if you're ashamed of what you're doing, then why the hell are you doing it? She said, be who you are and be okay with who you are. To your point, that made me like become someone totally different. I believe it's someone that I've always been, but I was just scared because of what society has told us we have to be. And when she told me that, it really changed my perspective on life and my perspective on being and accepting being gay. So that's my I statement. It's not everyone's, but it's mine.
That's so crazy though. I mean, even when you guys said like, we just made kind of like an observation of if it was like we're all close to each other in age as far as like in the generation that we come from. I feel like at people at a certain generation or a certain time in their lives, like that are like probably older than 35 and up, like their coming out stories were more about people not accepting who they were, and it seems like a lot of us is about we not accepting who we were, and people have more issue about that than So I like
Well,
that. That's so interesting. Like the
I didn't have room to accept myself because I knew that I wasn't accepted.
There.
So
Right,
I was
that's
like,
different.
I can't even, nah.
And then
I
you
can't
still
hold
have
myself
people who have that same experience that you've had.
Mm-hmm.
But for even the most part now, even these days, it's like people are more like they will accept you more if you are just who you are. Well, we can't change you. We can't.
Well, and we've heard several people say, we were waiting for you to come and tell us.
I cannot
So
stand
if
that.
you were waiting
And they
for
would
us
hurt
to
that
tell
you
us,
didn't
why
tell
don't you have
us.
that
So
conversation?
So I would say for me, coming out is not a thing, and it would never be a thing because I feel like I'm so much more than just gay. And I don't have to tell you that I'm smart. I don't have to tell you I know how to dress. I don't have to tell you about what I do. So
You gonna see it.
you just don't see it, right?
You
It's a
just
part
gonna
of
see
me.
it.
So for me, I feel like there's not a need for me to do that because if you like it, great. If you don't, I don't care because at the end of the day, I'm still Chris. Outside of being gay, if I was not gay, I would still be the same person that I was today. So I value when people look at me holistically and don't look at me for the different parts and sectionalities of my life because everything that I do intersects with one another to make me the individual that I am. So for me, like I never had to come out and I don't foresee myself coming out because I don't view that as a thing that I have to do. Now granted, there's been situations to where like when I was a little boy, my great grandmother used to let me play with dolls. And so my grandmother wouldn't allow it.
Maybe.
But my granny, she would buy the dolls and I would do their hair. Cause boy, you might grow up and be a hairdresser because you can do some hair, you can do some braids. You know what I'm saying? So it was like little stuff like that.
The Barbie edges would slay.
You know what I'm saying? And the black ones. She used to take me to the dollar store, the Fred's, because the Walmart was in Hope, and we went for the drive to Hope for no Barbie doll. So she took me to Fred's because we used to walk. I'll never forget. Oh, the Dollar General, the yellow sign with the black words, and get one of them $2 dolls. And I used to be braiding and combing, you know what I'm saying? And when I got to, and of course, as I grew up, like because I was always around my mom, and like I didn't have any brothers, and my dad always worked. I was always around women. Like I grew up, and I was kind of effeminate, and like how I act and how I said things. And then I also was like the black kid at the white schools growing up too. So I already stood out, and so because I didn't act like everybody else, it was always, oh, you must be a girl. So I already didn't fit inside. That was something that I had already heard about myself before I even knew what gay was, or before I even knew what sexuality was, or before even I had the feelings about sexuality. And then when I got to middle school, I saw my first porn, and it was a gay porn. It popped up, and I threw up.
Ooh.
And so like I like literally threw up. Like I threw up, and my mom was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I'm sick," but like I threw up because I was so shocked.
It was all that pent up anxiety.
Yeah, but and of course as I grew older, I grew an attraction to guys. And I told you like my story. Like I never thought that I would be attracted to men. It just happened because I had someone come to stay with us who was attracted to men, and he would meet me in our BGC Live and invite them over, and they was doing all types of stuff. And I looked at him, they looked at myself, and I was like, if this nigga's running game, I know I can run game too. And so me running game on people grew into an attraction.
So it started
So
as a
it
scam.
started as a
Right.
scam.
So you
It started as a scam, but it
Right.
was an attraction. And so like there was these times where like when I was in high school that I got caught with a guy in a gym, and the police had to come, and they called my mama, but it was never a question about my sexuality then. Or like my mom and daddy caught somebody jumping out of my window. They never asked me that question then. Like even to this day, like I think I would call myself attractive, but I haven't brought a girl to the house. I'm not married. I don't have any children.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, like on Facebook, I show my body, and primarily
The men's is.
most of my likes and my comments are from men.
The men's is.
And so my parents haven't said anything about it. So I don't feel the need that I have to, because I feel they already accept me for me as who I am, because they value me outside of what I like or what I'm sexually attracted to. So I don't see any need to do that.
So you've never had a conversation with your parents about you being gay?
No, I never will. It's not. I don't have to.
Okay.
It's not important because my thing. So my family operates a little differently. Yes, we're religious, but we put love first. And so like my parents have always loved me, no matter what I've done, correctly or incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how many times, no matter what porno she found on my computer, no matter what text message she found, no matter who liked my photo or who commented, my mom has always supported me in who I was and affirmed me every step of the way. When I was dancing in church with the flags, my mom was rooting me on, taking pictures with the video camera. When I wanted to sing, my mama was right there. You know what I'm saying? If I'm taking pictures with my shirt off and my drawers, baby, you look good. What's your workout? My mom and dad have always been right there to support me. And so because I feel like they've always supported me in any venture that I pursued in my life, I don't need to do that. Like even when I do for work, you know what I'm saying? Like
I was gonna ask about that.
I work in HIV, so I work in HIV prevention, and I talk about issues that the LGBT community faces. My mom knows I work closely with the trans population. My mom knows I work with drag queens and performers. My parents know that, but they know where my heart is, and so they look at me as an individual. It's a heart thing. They don't look at me as what I do and how I do it. They look at me as a person, inside out, not outside in.
Well, someone can still look at you as a person, but still, know or have a conversation that you're gay. I always think that it's something for people to not openly talk about that, hey, I'm gay, this is what I'm experiencing and such, but yet, I guess, scream gay pride or wear stuff with rainbow. It's like, so with your friends, you're talking about being gay and all of this stuff, but then when it comes to your family, then it's like, oh, well, it doesn't have to be discussed, so I'm so much better. I'm so much better than that. But if you're so much more than that, then why be an activist? Why go out to the clubs and scream on Instagram that I'm gay and all of this?
Well, the thing about, so for me, I don't do that.
You don't?
So on my Instagram, you won't see me say, hey, I'm Chris and I'm gay. Woo, woo, woo. So
you don't think that your social media gives off that you're gay at all?
No, he's not
I'm
saying
just asking.
What he's saying is like he's just living his life and being himself authentically.
So
There's
yeah.
no need to vocally be like,
right,
oh, hey guys.
But that's still living your life authentic
so,
if you're screaming
no,
out
yes, it is because
yeah,
you're just
I'm
being.
saying.
Because there's a difference between just being and, like I said, if you're already accepted for who you
right.
are anyway, there's no need really to have that type of conversation.
Exactly.
I think
he already knows. I mean,
It's
there is room for a conversation. Like I do think that eventually
there's room for a conversation.
Have a conversation.
The need for it in your life.
The need for it in my life does not have to happen because as we talk about I statements, right? For you in your life, there probably was a need, but as for me in my house, it wasn't a need.
But still at the end of the day, I feel like that there is a need because if you are an activist or if you're someone that's, hey, like this is the life of such and such, I personally feel that it is important for your family to know that they do actually have a homosexual in the house. And not just, oh,
well,
well,
they know.
I never said that they didn't know. My mom has literally found gay porn on my computer, found guys jumping out of my window. I've gotten caught with guys. I'm 26. Most guys in my family have children by the age of 18, and I never bought a girl to the house. Now, if she does not have the knowledge in order to put those context clues together, in order to figure out that, hey, your son is gay, that's on her. But I don't feel as if I have to have that conversation with her because she
I'm not saying have a groundbreaking conversation like let's sit and have tea, hey, I'm gay. I'm just saying like with my mother, though she treated me a certain way or I experienced certain things when I was younger, our relationship now is great because I have that I have those talks with her, and
I think that's your statement because your parents are
talking
different
about
ages.
We talking about us.
For me and Laquita will talk all day, every day, and y'all know because I talk about my mom all the time, and we talk about what's going on TV. We talk about just life in general, and so the thing about it, so the reason why I don't, because my mom understands me and she sees me that I'm more than that. And so I feel like a lot of times I'm more than
I never get that when people say I'm more than that.
Because gay is not the only thing that he
that I am.
I mean, I know that.
So, and from my perspective, so people make being straight and gay, they make it out to be these big grandiose things, right? There are these big pictures, but there are other identities that we assume that people do not put as much power behind. And so what I'm saying is that me being gay, I equate that to the same thing as me being black or to me being a man. So I'm saying, for me, it's not as much.
Look at the other stuff.
Yeah,
okay, right, and I get that.
And I don't have to say, hey everybody, right. I'm black.
Okay,
hey,
so I get that.
Hey everybody,
but here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. Just how you're saying all these other things. So you discuss all of those other things, but you don't discuss what it's like for me being gay is what I'm saying.
But I
so
think
it's like you're like, oh, I'm 10
sexuality is
different
just
things.
like, but it's sexuality is just like this. So even if I were to bring like a girl home and we together, I don't have to discuss that we fucking. I don't have to discuss that we're doing this. I don't have to discuss where we're going in our paths. So why do I have to discuss if I'm doing the same things with a man?
Well,
why do I have to do that?
Okay, and for that,
Exactly.
and for that, I would say that a lot of heterosexual people do discuss with their parents what they are expecting. Maybe not everything, but they do. Hey, this is my girlfriend, such and such. Oh yeah, we get married. Oh yeah, we haven't. I mean, people.
Well, he's actually never had a relationship. Period.
But
that's
in response to Jamil saying that, okay, but straight people don't have, but no, straight people do.
But
have
at the same
those
time, he's never been in
conversations.
a relationship. So why would he bring somebody home? Some people have the value of, I'm not going to bring you home, not because I'm gay, but I'm not going to bring you home because I don't know necessarily if you're going to be a fit to my family.
Well,
so
that's something different. That's something completely different with homosexuality.
So my thing is like like you said, like yes, people do have those conversations when they're heterosexual, like, oh, this is my girlfriend, these are the issues I'm having, this is this and this.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, but if you're not having those issues or you're not at that part of a relationship where you really want to discuss that type of relationship with your family, because everybody doesn't discuss
right.
with their family.
Right.
So Devin, what was that discussion with your family? Because we haven't heard that.
I haven't got there yet.
Right,
let's get there. So, well, there really was no discussion.
Yeah, he said
like,
it
yo, I really, like, they know now. They've met boyfriends, but there was never like, oh, let's sit down and let's talk about Devin being gay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was never that. Allegedly. And so, I mean, it was really, because I dated girls in high school. I didn't even start dating guys or having sex with guys or anything up until the summer between my junior year, my senior year in high school. And so, what?
Well, I only say wow because everyone started younger. I guess because I'm a little bit older, it was more towards college age.
Yeah, I didn't start doing anything until 18. I didn't start dating or talking to guys.
Girls
I had crushes.
That like
Okay.
having sex with girls.
When I was about 12.
13, 14.
I was gay.
And then I started having sex with men in maybe 15, 16, so like 2 years now.
I remember having dial-up and y'all could chat and just chatting with.
Because like I said, I had girlfriends home, and so like when I finally realized like, okay, I actually like guys, and I ended up talking to a dude and dating a guy, like I kind of just brought them in the same way I would have done a girlfriend. Like there was really no like, hey mom, like I'm finna bring a boy home. Like there was really none of that. It was just like, oh hey, this is so and so. Welcome to the family.
That's a blessing.
Like it was just
a blessing.
Now everyone like I got some side eyes, but I mean I told my aunt, like me and her had kind of talked about it because I was staying with her at the time. At first,
and I didn't care about my extended family.
I remember, like, I had the whole Christmas booty situation. Remember when I told you that?
What happened?
The Christmas booty situation. like Christmas of 2018. It goes back to we talked about the red iPhone. Everybody in my family had the red iPhone, so we all had the same iPhone. So Christmas Day, I got a text message from somebody that I was talking to at the time saying that, "Are you gonna give me some Christmas booty?" And so my grandmother assumed that it was her phone, and she picked it up. And so with her glasses right here, hold on, she talking about some Christmas booty. Who texted me Christmas booty? And then my auntie talking about something. That's Rudy's phone because my family name is Rudy, and she started laughing. Like it was laughing, but like from that it was like that happened, and we kept moving on. Right. So like it was never a need, and so for me to have a conversation. And then I thought about something that you said. So you asked the question, how can I be an advocate and go out on platforms and advocate for other people and do all this promotion as it relates to gender equality and talk about the LGBTQ community, and I haven't had the discussion with my parents. It's because so you said that, and I sat here and started to think, but I'm saying like me doing that, I'm representing that population of people who didn't have to do that, and also I want to create the standard and create a tone and space to where youth growing up can feel safe and comfortable to understand and know that they don't have to do that. I want to change culture, so parents who have LGBTQ youth, it doesn't need to be a conversation about them being gay. It's just that this is who they are, and they are available to live their life. So that's why. So because when you said that, that's why I brought it, because that my how I advocate in my story is representative of me and the change that I want to see based off my family dynamics. So the dynamics that we have internally are the dynamics that I feel like should be spread forward.
Really?
I agree with him in a sense because, like, I feel like a lot of people, the reason they feel like they need to have that coming out story is because they do view it as something that's wrong or
Right.
something that's, you know.
Yeah.
So
right,
you
yeah.
want to, so you feel like, oh my God, I gotta get this
You have
out.
to
They're gonna
prove
hate
it.
me. Like
Yeah.
I need to talk to them. So there's more like anxiety with that. But with me, I never cared. Like, you know, like if any of y'all know me, anybody that's known me for a long time, I've had the same attitude, I don't give a fuck attitude since I was like 8 years old. So it's one of those things that it's just like you either gonna accept me or you're not. And so my family dynamic was never like the greatest to begin with. So it was one of those, if y'all write me off, girl, okay, you write me off, girl, oh well.
Instead of
That's what I
normalizing,
know, Chris
And I get that because to
it's
that point,
denormalizing a coming
Yeah.
out story. Instead of normalizing coming out, normalizing just being you and authentic to that.
well, and just being me is if you don't like what I do, then you don't gotta fuck with me.
Exactly.
Because you're not fucking feeding or financing me. So that's my motto, and that's always gonna be my motto.
And then I have something to say too.
I'm like, Sam look like she got
Definitely
something.
not when she gets out the house.
I've just been trying to get my words together because I wish I felt like y'all, but I don't. And I understand that, you know, you grew up in different households and have different families, but I can't help but feel like there's so much room for denial, particularly when it comes to your story and your family. Like, that's the question that keeps coming back
But-
for me.
But
Hold
not
on.
for them or the you.
Hold on.
It'll
It'll make more sense if you let me finish.
Okay.
And then it's Chris Lawyer, child.
Right. So, if I had to put it together in a different way, I am looking at your experiences from the vantage point of mine, and I'm trying to understand it the best I can without actually living it, right? So the thing that's irritating me because of where I'm coming from, looking at your situation from my perspective, is that when it came to my family, particularly with my mom, she was finding porn on my computer. Is this yours? Are you looking at this? No. And then she believed it because she wanted to.
Right,
And
yeah.
like,
But that's more about
That's her
than
denial.
us.
It's not yours.
He's getting to the
but what I'm
point.
saying is that concept is there and it's something that's possible. And I'm just wondering, I'm like, is it that it's actual, well, we don't have to talk about it, or is it
She don't want to talk.
exactly, is it just denial because it's not logical, it's emotional.
But didn't you say that they also said that they couldn't wait for you to say, like, was waiting on you to come
My
out?
sister.
Your sister
Right, but
was.
not
So what do you think would have happened if you would have just said, yeah, it's mine? I was looking at it.
Like,
Like,
she would have beat me up.
Right.
Like, it would have been a
Strangled,
terrible situation. That's the reason why I came out via a letter. Like, we're a lot better now, but the reason why I felt the need to say that I'm coming out, it wasn't because I felt like it was wrong. I was past that point. It was because a lot of people around me said that it was wrong, and it would be safer for me to say, hey, this is what's going on, than me living it first and then having to talk about it.
And maybe because you were in the space to where you were denying what you were doing in those situations. Me, I never denied it. When my mom found it, I was,
yeah, me too. That's what I'm saying.
My
I was
bad.
never-
You know, I was looking at it. I wanted to know.
Definitely didn't
I was
catch
wanting,
that.
so like, and maybe like that, me doing that early on kind of set the stage for us not to want to have that conversation.
Well, yeah, because if you straight up saying that, oh yeah, this is a boy that's jumping out my window, yeah, this is my gay porn, there is no discussion needed to say,
And that's-
yeah, because
That's
then-
exactly what I was
well,
saying.
but
He's been saying
then
the whole
that's
time.
different when you got somebody that's like me and Sam who
No,
are
correct.
denying
That's
of
why
it.
you
That's
said
why we're
your
having
perspective.
this
Yeah,
conversation.
And that's why when I
Yeah.
say like, as in for me in my house, that's what went on based off of what we was doing, and like it's okay. But like, and like what Sam talked about to his point, I was like, well, maybe that's why, like stuff like that, those small factors. Why?
But the good thing about having this conversation, and I get it, everyone's coming out story is going to be different and unique
Right.
to who you are and who
That's
is
obvious.
around you in
That's
your
very
circle.
obvious.
So, I mean, I get it. We're passionate about our coming out stories, but like I said, I'm just fortunate that I had the coming out story that I had because some people don't have that, and we just heard that today.
We did.
And I don't want, and this is for you too, and I don't want it to come off like it's insensitive because I know how I can be sometimes. However, do you feel like it could be some rooted resentment or that you may still have about you being in those particular situations? Because like you were saying that, well, it kind of irritates me from my perspective or my point of view, and I'm like, well, it seems like it's more so because you didn't have the same like dynamic with your parents.
What that is. Yes, that would have been nice, but I think that if I would have been honest and saying, yeah, mama, this is what this is, then there would not have ever, like, a conversation would not have needed to be had.
But that you had times where you did, and she still acted like she was in denial about it.
No, I never.
Well, that's what I got.
You are misquoting as what Jaleel does. Is that so? What was said was that she caught some things. She found some things, and I told her, no, it ain't what you think that it is. It wasn't until later on as an adult, that I was telling her that, yes, this is what this is. And she was not accepting that, just like how a lot of families are not accepting to homosexual men.
Okay.
Right. So, lead on to my next question. So, what do y'all feel that mothers, fathers, families, whoever, could do to help support their children, nieces, nephews, cousins, whoever, like, with their coming out? Like, how do we make it more comfortable for them to like just be?
Don't give them don't have them ever have to come out. Have that conversation before, because like I said, sometimes people have said, I've seen that we've been called fag, we've been called gay. I'm pretty sure all of us in this panel has been called that in grade school by somebody somewhere. And I'm pretty sure if you're like me, I was fighting kids, and I had to tell them why I fought. Well, he called me a faggot. Mm-hmm. So you already know before I even have to come out and tell you who I am, because kids are seeing it. Everybody has this picture of us having that white picket fence and all this stuff that we didn't want. That's not what we wanted. That's not how we envisioned our life to be. So at the end of the day, for me, to answer your question, come to your kids before that point happens. I applaud my brothers and sisters because they have those open, honest conversations, even if they're tough. Those are the things that you gotta have with your kids, and I'm glad that my parents had that with me, because like I said, I didn't have to come out, even though I did come out because of the circumstances of what happened in my life. I didn't have to do that. They knew who I am.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, just have those conversations. I mean, my mom. Yeah. To Sam's point, we had this conversation about our moms. My mom. Yes, she was accepting, but to me, I felt like she was holding back because I'm her child. Even though she had a gay hairdresser and a gay best friend, it's now hitting home. It's my child.
Yeah, my mother said the same thing.
So it just hurt me when my mom did what she did to me. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we moved past that, and I'm glad that my mom had that. I had that experience with my mom because it allowed me to be open and honest and say, Mom, this is how I feel, and this is how you made me feel. Based on the things that you did or did not do.
Yeah, I think also, and I know they'd probably be in a perfect world, I would want this, but I feel like parents, what they need to do is like really focus more on the acceptance part, because the quicker they can accept something that may be different or what they're used to, the quicker they can protect. Because that's really what a parent's job is to do, is to nurture and to protect. And so, you were saying like you got picked on. We all most likely got picked on. You had to fight and stuff like that. Had the focus been on the acceptance, they probably could have equipped you with solutions to where this probably wouldn't have. Things could have turned out differently. Not even just with fighting though, but I feel like especially when you start getting into adolescent age, the quicker your parents accept you, the quicker they can give you the proper sex talk. Because you have a lot of people out here who are contracting HIV at 15, 16.
A lot of them being preyed on by people already in the community.
And that's a whole other topic when we talk about like sexual reproductive health education and how biased it is. Because when we talk about like young women, like the context of sexual reproductive health education, sex ed, is taught to them at an earlier phase through the methods of PE and wellness, right? So they're already being taught about menstruation from 3rd and 2nd grade. But us, we never learned about sex until it happens, right?
Right.
And so there's a lot of inequity in how like education is tailored depending on your gender.
And there is no education on like actual sexuality.
Whether heterosexual or homosexual.
Because to me, it's either this is a penis, this is a vagina,
And
this is
this
what
is
you do
going
with them,
with
and this is what you can get if you know. Like I feel like that's all.
And then back to the whole.
On the greater scheme of things, you look at it from this point of view, or this perspective. My siblings never had to have that conversation with my parents that we are talking about that we have to have. So why, as homosexuals, we have to have a different conversations than heterosexuals?
Exactly.
That's true.
Because we're Balenciaga and they're Dior.
No, bro, they are
But no,
boundary,
true
no
too.
boundaries for all
True too.
But they're the norm, and if anything deviates outside the norm, normally
You
it
have a
requires
conversation about it.
because everyone doesn't know about it.
Right.
So the thing,
But-
and that gets to my point of what I feel like parents should do. So I think that parents should start, and given where we at now in culture and given everything that's going on and like the level of acceptance for certain things, parents need to start to be able to normalize things that tend to be abnormal, right? View your children for who they are and not for what they do, and love them. I think a lot of times when people have kids, I have a kid, this is my boy, this is my girl, I see their life before my eyes, right? So I set the expectation and standards high, right? And granted, you can still do that, but through that, just let your kids tell you who they are,
Right.
because they are entitled to be the person that they're going to be, and that's the premise of the social settings, how they were raised, and a direct correlation to genetics, like their genetic makeup. So instead of waiting for abnormal to happen, start to think about how you can normalize things that you don't expect, and through any situation, be there for your child
I would like
with
to
love.
piggyback off of that because I still had a few
We
more
got
things
you
to
then
say.
live, and we gonna wrap it up.
So, to like comment on what it was that you just said, the biggest mistake that my family made as far as raising me is that they raised a boy instead of raising Samuel. And
That was
the
it.
thing is that when you say let your children tell you who they are, you have to allow that instead of this doesn't fit into our family dynamic. Let's punish it and cut it off so they can be who we have made room for them to be.
Exactly.
But as far as what families can do, you know, to help out, to my mom's credit, what she did, and she worked at the library, she did her own research. Because the reason why she was so hurt and distraught and, you know, everything was going on is because she was going by what she already knew and what other people had told her. Like, she was from a village called Bonita. Like, what did she know? Right? She was from a literal village. And seeing how like she's not gay and she doesn't have a lot of gay people in her family, all she heard about, since she's not actively seeing the knowledge, are the rumors, and the rumors tend to be unflattering.
The rumors, the media representation,
doing
drugs,
things
they out
that
there
just
catching
other
the
people
AIDS
say in the church.
Exactly. But when she did her own research, that's when her mind started to change because she saw that things really weren't what people were telling her.
Exactly.
Education is really something else. That's all you got to do.
And y'all have a better relationship.
We do.
But
What offends me that a lot of parents and a lot of adults do when they have come to terms or accepting somebody that may be lesbian or gay or whatnot, and you said it earlier, is when we were waiting for you to come out. That is the most offensive thing to me a guardian can say, because it's like, if you knew this whole time, where were you to help? Like, it's kind of like someone bringing baby shower gifts after you've already had the baby. Like, I needed this, like...
You need the baby shower gifts even after the baby.
But I mean, like, after you... What I meant was, like, when you don't need them anymore. Like, it's like, why are you... It's like you're making yourself available when I don't. I needed you in my infancy of discovery.
But how did they,
I don't need
but based
onesies
off of that,
when
how
it's
did they
just in a
come to
routine.
you?
Right.
But some people would feel like it would be intrusive or kind of offensive for you to come and to me, oh, I think you're gay. Well, no, I'm not gay. I'm not gay. I'm not gay. Like, we're already defending that. So how can I come to you as a parent and be okay, like try to like?
There's a method to it. Like, it's just all in how. Like, if you parents talk about a lot, and
they do,
but you don't know until you've been told. And you don't know until you've been educated. So a lot of times in those settings, like when people say, well, we've been waiting for you to say something, maybe because they didn't know
They
how to
didn't
have
know
that
how to,
conversation.
Or
And
they didn't want
they
to
didn't know how
put
to
you in
bring
a
it
box.
up.
Or
And
they
maybe
didn't
if they did, maybe they really just didn't know, or they had some type of idea. Because the thing about it is, so like, you could be my son, and I could be your dad, and I could be like, son, are you gay? And you can be straight and be offended, and that can mess up our relationship. So they can have parents can potentially have an idea, but not per se no, but they don't want to affect that child. So I'm gonna give you the space to figure out whatever you got to figure out. And so when you're ready, you come talk to me and tell me what's up. And
But I feel like there's ways to like drop hints to like let you know like it's cool. Like,
Right, exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
Like just,
but show that you're accepting.
And what I'm
like,
saying
when other
is
things
like
happen.
a lot, at least in my case, with the people in my life who say, "Oh, we already knew" or whatnot. You already knew this whole time. Y'all were reluctant for us to tackle this together, but you were quick to punish me for it.
Right.
That's
yeah.
where the whole imbalance.
Yeah.
So it's the
right. So you already knew, but when you found out there was things that you did based off that hurt me. So you would think that you wouldn't do that because out of that love for me. So I understand.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I
like,
understand. Yeah, I
I'm
understand
on
that.
the ledge and I'm about to jump off, and you're not gonna stop me from jumping off this ledge.
And
Okay.
then the
Yeah.
parachute comes out at the end. It's like, I knew you had a parachute.
So yeah. So like yeah.
No, but to your point, I mean, I made that little analogy, being on the ledge and jumping off, and you're not gonna stop me. But some people that can't come out or have the fear of coming out or being shunned from their family,
Sometimes
they
it feels
commit
like
suicide.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
You
a
brought
very
me.
good
You
question.
brought me right to my closing, Jamal. I love how y'all do that. Y'all always wrap it up so nice. But yes,
Girl like football.
it is very important for families to accept their children, to allow them to be who they are, who they want to be, who they, the life they want to live. Everybody is their own individual, and we have LGBTQ youth out here committing suicide at very alarming rates. So it's up to families to really just pay attention to your children, take notes, and really just love them. Love them for who they are, and just love on them no matter what. So again, you guys, this has come to the end of our episode for today. If you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you need that HIV or syphilis testing, or you want to inquire about PrEP, be sure to call 214-393-3700, 214-393-3700. And so, guys, that was
The Tea! Okay, so I had some resources that I wanted to throw out there for parents.
Go ahead.
I did.
Go ahead.
Okay, so there is an amazing resource packet about offered to the CDC. It's called Families Talking Together. So it brings up creative ways and creative topics that parents can utilize and use when they talk to their kids about sexual and reproductive health issues. There's also a lot of programs offered through local gay straight alliances. There's a lot of resources offered through GLSEN. And Creating Change. They have toolkits and packets available on their websites that you can utilize to have these discussions within your home. And it can be about gender, sexuality, or it could just be about life in general. So parents out there, make sure you do some research, educate yourself, and if you don't know, find Google.